Welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel and another episode of Field Trip. We are at the Oregon Region SCCA Autocross event number 3 with Project Porsche, and obviously we'll have a video on the Porsche build detailing just that car, doing the on-car video and stuff. But for the rest of it, I kind of wanted to show what it's like to come to an autocross event for those of you who watch the channel and aren't familiar with it yet. So we are here at Portland International Raceway in Portland, Oregon. And here is registration, everyone getting ready. Tech is here, everybody getting their stuff done. Oh, sorry, tech's over there. So for autocross, your car has to have numbers on the side that have to be at least 8 inches tall, and then your class number. You can see a lot of people use tape, but we use the magnets from autocrossdigits.com. Again, not sponsored. There's all sorts of places. I used to use iZoom. Their stuff is good too. I'm sure there's other people out there, a lot of people who make their own or use vinyl. So here's everyone getting grid. So they check everything out on the car, make sure the battery hold down is good, make sure there's nothing leaking, make sure the wheel bearings are all good, all that kind of stuff. And then when they sign off on tech, everyone gets their run card, and they go from there. So obviously this guy still needs his numbers, but this is everyone lined up for tech. Like I said, registration's over there. And over here we've got grid. So grid is where the cars come when it's their run group. So in autocross, there's usually 2 run groups. And what it is they'll split the classes, not the class itself. The class itself, so like if you're in C Street like we are, all the C Street runs at the same time. But they'll split like all the street classes will run opposite the street modified classes and things like that, so that about half the cars are running while half the cars are working. That's right, at autocross, it's socialism at its finest. You have to work. So everybody here has a volunteer job, and so you sign up to run, and when you're not running, when your run group is working, you usually are out there on course working a corner. Because if you knock over a cone, so you're driving by this thing, the whole course is set up with cones, and you knock it over, somebody has to run out and put it back up for the next guy. So that is what the corner workers do. So this is grid. Dual drivers are usually marked with the double cone things because you can have 2 drivers per car in autocross, which is really cool. So we got some of the nice race cars all set up here already. In fact, we could take a little gander. That's Dan Bolus's Corvette, really nice one. So it looks like, so the X means PAX. Those are like the pro drivers, people that have been to nationals and stuff like that before. They run on an index with each other so that they don't just dominate the classes for the regular folks like me. But the PAX guys are running, and then prepared. That's the P there on that Miata missing the windshield. And so like this is Jared Still's Super Street Modified FDRX7. Yes, still rotary powered, 2 rotor. This thing is fantastic. Usually contender for top time of the day overall. We got Bencourt's 240Z, probably one of my favorite race cars. F prepared, so all sorts of race car, and yes, still Datsun inline 6. I think that's Zach's brand new C5 Z06. He just picked that thing up, I think yesterday. Awesome, just a street car. Just a street car. Yeah, he's got plenty of race cars. Yeah, so you see we got TTRS, more Mustangs, FRSs. .370Zs, you know, all sorts of cool stuff. So you see all sorts of awesome cars at the autocross and kind of cool older stuff. But what I'm going to do now is take a course walk. So when you autocross, the course is always different. It's never the same, and that's kind of what's fun and awesome about autocross is you know what they're doing a grid here. Doesn't make any sense. Anyways, that's what's fun and awesome about autocross. It's not the same thing over and over again. When you run an autocross, you're likely never going to see that course again, because even if they try to set it up the same, invariably a cone's going to be in a different spot and it's going to drive different anyway. So you'll pull out a grid here, come up here to the start line. Now, where you place your car is important. You'll see in my on-car video stuff that I have the car placed in weird spots sometimes because it's all about where you come out. So the first corner is over there, which means you want the car oriented this way. If you pull in and you're already like this, you have to turn a corner just to get started. Why do that when you can start with the car already pointing. So the smart people are going to pull way out and be way over here and pull in this way and use the front corner of their car. So normally they start you here, even though the lights are there, so you get kind of a running start at it. So they usually have a line here. They'll say go, take off. You notice how I kind of turned this corner into a straightaway already. We're going to trip the beams. That's those right there. Blink. Now the timer has started. So it's all about looking ahead in autocross. So this is our next corner, but the corner after that is over there. So we really want to be looking that way, and then kind of to the one after it that way. So everything is a sweeper right now. So you're going to want to stay to the right, kind of be close to this cone, but not too close. The apex is actually that one. And again, still looking ahead, you can see there's a cone way out there with the arrow cones pointing toward it. So we're going to cut back to the left, and it's going to start a funky slalom. So this one was our apex. We apexed that one. We're tracking out here. So when you're looking ahead, there's cones that are important, like that one, and cones that are important, that one. I can completely ignore that one. That one doesn't matter at all. I'm not going to be anywhere near that one. This is the one I'm going to be right next to. Becoming a hair's breadth away from this. I want to put the right front tire right there. We're looking ahead to this. You can see the slalom is going to be super sharp to start with. So you come around here, you apex on this. Again, you're going to want the tire, and it's not just next to it. We're going to be coming with the car oriented this way. See that? We're pointed this way, not this way, not this way, this way. So we're hitting this with the back side of the cone with the tire. Okay, and then the slalom is an increasing cone. You see there's 2 cones, and then 3 cones, and then 4 cones. So slalom is a back and forth. It's just like if you ever watched downhill skiing for the Olympics. So same thing. We want our front tire like that on the back side of the cone, car oriented this way. If you're turning after you pass the cones, you're turning way too late. You need to be turning before the cones. That way you're already pointed this direction when you go by them. So now we're looking at this one here. And again, we're looking ahead at the 4 cone, keeping this one kind of in our peripheral vision. Again, so right about here, I'm about halfway between the cones. My car's oriented straight. Now I'm turning back in already. I'm going to hit, or try to at least, hit the back side of this cone like that with the tire. Come out for this one. Now, looking ahead, we have to be to the left side of these 4. We also have to be to the left for that first set of cones, okay? But then it goes to the right. So that cone right there with the arrow on it, that's our apex. So you almost ignore these because they're too far away. And you use that as the last piece of the slalom. So here we come, we're coming through, and again, keeping the car oriented. Be about like that. Okay, but we're looking ahead, it's turning to the left. Now there's a crossover. A crossover is literally a figure 8. So you're going to go through, do some more course, and then come back through a different direction. So looking over here, looking ahead, this one doesn't matter. It's away from the apex. As long as we don't hit that one with the outside, it doesn't matter. That's the only one that matters. We're apexing that cone. And again, backside as we come through. Now looking ahead, you can see the crossover. That's the 4 sets of 2. And then past that is another gate. And that gate is where we're looking. So we drive through like that. Going straight through. And you can see here's Jared right there. If we looked at his RX-7 earlier, he's coming the other way through the crossover. So they run 2 cars to the track at the same time, but what they'll do is they'll probably have 1 car go through the crossover before they even start the next one. This is where we crashed into each other, right, Jared?
Collision.
Ah! So it's 2 seconds if you hit a cone, it's 10 seconds or a DNF if you miss the gate, it's 30 seconds if you hit another car, right? I think that's how it works. I'm joking, don't hit anything. It is 2 seconds if you hit a cone, though. We'll go over that at the end of the course walk, for those of you who aren't familiar with that. So, coming around here, again, kind of ignored these because they weren't really that important. That's our first apex point on this 180 turnaround to the right. And again, we're looking like way over here as we're in the car right now. We want to put the right front tire on the back side of this cone, about like that. We're going to be coming through here pretty much already at the 180. So now this is interesting. You got to watch topography too. I don't know how easy this is to pick up on the camera, but this is peaked. So it goes off lower from here. This is the high point. So as you're coming over, you want to hit this high point straight on, because if you hit it at any kind of an angle, it's going to upset the suspension really bad. If you hit it straight on, it's not going to be that bad. So I'm going to hit it straight on and then immediately turn. We're apexing this guy, and then out there is our next set of a gate, and then the crossover again. So when we come through here, we've apexed on that one. We're going to be probably a little bit wide. This one's almost not going to matter. You see, they actually scooted it back. But the car is probably going to be likely here, because we're really kind of clipping this one here. And even then, not really. You almost want to let it drift out a little wide, looking at how the crossover is. And beyond the crossover is a hard to the left. Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit tricky. So you're not hitting the crossover dead on at a 180 degree angle. We're not over here. We're over here. And so as we come through, we're hitting it kind of cockamamie. That's going to be hard. So this one's going to be the tough one. You're going to end up with the right side of the car right there, going through the crossover. And then looking ahead, like I said, you got a hard left, and then there's a pinch cone. So a pinch cone is designed to, as you hit the finish, you don't want people getting all crazy and wonky through this corner and into the finish and spinning and taking out the timing lights or all the finish cones. So they put in this pinch cone to force you to come back over. If that cone wasn't there, you could apex this thing, right? And just straight shot in there, just full power, right? Except for most cars, you're going to come through here and you're going to end up like this. You're aiming right at that thing. You're going to nail that with the right side tire. So you have to kind of come back over to the left before you go through. They're designed like that on purpose. It's a safety thing. So we'll be coming back through here, and on this one, ideally, almost 180 degrees, like right parallel with it, and then to the finish. Now, for autocross, as soon as you trip the finish lights, your run is done. However, all of the cones passed still count. So if you go through this sideways and take all those out, which I have done before in the Mustang, those are 2 seconds each. Your run is destroyed. So think about that. But as soon as you get through the lights, get on the brakes. They give you plenty of shutdown room. These are the timing lights. We trip them. Watch the clock over there. Bam, we just ran a 28.4. Who knows? That might be a good time. That might not be. We walked. So again, all of these count. Now, what do I mean by 2 seconds now that we're done with course walk? When you come by and you hit a cone, all right, that's a 2 second penalty. A corner worker will run up, grab it, hold it up in the air, call in on the radio, and you've got a penalty. However, if you hit it and it's still standing up and there's any part of it touching at all, it's still good. It counts. It is a safe cone. So they'll run out, they'll reset it, and they'll call it safe. In fact, you can see the blip shift shirt, totally apropos and appropriate. So, and it doesn't matter if it like wildly launches up in the air, as long as it lands back down, standing up and touching it all. It can even be literally that. That's still good. So just because you whack a cone doesn't necessarily mean it's a penalty. It actually has to be over. Now, if it's over and touching, it doesn't matter. If it's over, it's a penalty. So those are your penalties in autocross. Now, for this club, I can't remember if a gate is a DNF or 10 seconds, but either way, your run's destroyed if you miss a gate. So don't miss any gates. That's the whole point of doing the course walk and looking ahead. So yeah, that's walking a course. That is autocross penalties. That's like taking a look at registration and tech and grid. Yeah, so I'll try to get maybe some video of the event while it's going on for you guys. Maybe not, we'll see. I'm co-chairing this event, which means I'm one of the people in charge, so I got to do the driver's meeting talk and all that stuff, and had to be here early to set all these things up. So I don't know how much I'll get to film, but at least we got to do that. And yeah, so alright, so this is the autocross running. We're into fun runs now, so I can take a quick break to do some filming to show you guys. That Miata right there, he's getting ready to start. You'll see he's going to come towards us, if you remember from the course walk. And then he goes through solemn. Anyways, it goes all the way out there, makes all of his run, comes back in and finishes and has the time. You notice he hit a cone. There's a corner worker that had to run out and put it back up, so this run will be dirty. He'll have a 2-second penalty. We'll follow him all the way back down. And there he's tripped the finish lights, and you can see the timer there showing him his time. Yeah, that's what it's like to see an autocross from the outside. I'm sure you've watched some Project Porsche videos and seen autocross from the side of the car, inside the car. This is what it's like from the outside. And again, you notice everybody out here working. These are all people that are going to drive in the next session, and everybody that's out driving now will work all these corner worker positions and stuff during that session. So it's pretty nice that you don't have to like hire a crew or anything like that to come out and do these. Like, you just get enough people together and you can host an autocross. There's quite a few local clubs here to us that have done just that, bought their own timing equipment and cones and all that, and gotten insurance, and they can put on events. You know. I'll try to squeeze in some on-car from my car to cut in here too, to show you this track from the car, just in case you don't watch any Project Porsche videos. You still get an idea. And that's going to do it for the autocross. There's just a couple of cars left to run. I'm done running, so it's just the people that were behind me in the course, and you see there are a bunch in front too. Everyone is packing up and getting ready to head out. Got the Boxster all packed up and ready to go. So that's been a field trip to an autocross. Hopefully that answers a bunch of questions anybody that's unfamiliar with autocross has, that's been watching Project Porsche. So until next